Hey everybody, Epic Eddie here, and we're here for another Real Talk Tuesday. First and foremost, I do want to thank all of you guys for sticking with me. I know the past few months have been rough for me, and I've been kind of in and out. I just want to thank you guys. A lot of you have hit me up and expressed in the comments or on Facebook, just being there for me, and it's meant a lot. It's meant a lot. And just so you know, I'm back, so I'm I'm working on more stuff, and so I wanted to make sure and get this episode out because it is a very special one today. Before we get started though, remember, if you guys want to show some love, make sure you hit that like button, but most of all, make sure you hit subscribe. You guys have been great with adding subscribers, which has allowed me to do more things, and I'm just really glad that you guys have also been sharing it. But also make sure, I know I've been kind of in and out, so make sure you hit that little notification bell too. That'll just let you know whenever I put out new content, which I'm planning on putting out a lot more. So that out of the way, remember, we can't do a Real Talk Tuesday without some tequila. So to get started, this is actually 1800 silver. So this is one that I like. Actually, it's a good bang for your buck. There's another one that I really like. It's a coconut, which actually I'll probably try to get for maybe in the next episode. But we'll get into this. Now, today is a really tough day. I'm actually going to be talking about my mom today. And so as many of you guys know, she passed this day last year. So I will definitely need some of this. So this one's going to be for the show. Boop, 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 boop. And this one is for the mama. Since she was from Belize, I'm going to take it out of this Belizean shot glass that we got in Belize. So this one's to you, Ma. Ooh. See, that's good. It's smooth and it's good bang for your buck. Not super pricey. It's maybe a little pricier than, say, like bottom shelf or middle, but it's actually really good. So, let's get into this one. First, let me start off with this. I know I've talked about my mom quite a bit and, mentioning her in different episodes. Actually, in my very first episode, if you haven't seen it, I talked about all that went down with her passing and everything. So today, I know I've talked about some really deep stuff, some really intense stuff recently. So today, I want to try to keep it light, even though I am talking about, her passing. I don't really want to talk about how she passed, but I want to talk about how she lived, because I realize that there are a lot of you, especially now that I think we just hit 100 subscribers recently. So there are a lot of you that I obviously know personally, but there's a lot of you that I don't know. And I know that you probably don't know who my mom is or who she was, and a lot of you, even that know me, have never met her. So all I wanted to do today was just talk about her life and kind of tell a quick story of how, her life before she passed, and then also just kind of tell you guys about the qualities and stuff that my mom had that I really appreciate, man, that really stick with me, that I admire, which made her like a hero to me. My mom was just my hero, my heart, which was what made it so hard when she passed away. I've had a lot of people pass away in my life, even over the past few years, just recently. A lot of friends, a lot of family, and people are very close to. And it was tough, but this one, my mom passing, really just, it messed me up. Because she was just my whole world, man. She was my whole world. She was just such a kind person and such a great person. So I'm gonna try to get through this and keep it upbeat. If I get a little teary, don't mind me. All right, we'll maybe we'll cut that out. But I just want to tell you about who this woman was. So my mom, I guess, started off with she was born in Belize, a small country. It's in Central America, but right on the coast where the Caribbean is too. So it's kind of considered both. But I actually did an episode a little bit about Belize when I was talking about first generation American. So actually check that one out if you haven't. But she was born there and raised there. She was one of 6 kids. My grandparents then moved everyone to the States and immigrated to New York, actually. And so my mom lived there, and that's actually where she met my dad. Oddly enough, my dad was also from Belize, same city and everything, but they didn't meet until in New York City. So they wound up getting married and then having me, my middle brother, Drew, and then my youngest brother, Daniel. And so us 3 boys, they had. My dad was in the military, so just before they divorced, we were actually in Germany for a year. And so after they split up, my mom took me and my brothers back to the States, and then she raised us by herself, which wasn't an easy task. My mom worked her butt off to be able to try to give us a good life. And I mean, like, she worked full time, she went to school full time to be able to get her degrees and what she needed so that she could actually get better jobs, so she could try to raise us and then actually get us out of the bad neighborhoods that we grew up in. Our earlier lives grew up in pretty bad neighborhoods, and then as years went on, she kind of moved us on up to more of a middle class, which wasn't bad. Regardless of how we lived, there was just always a lot of love in the house. Our mom always made sure we had everything we needed as far as like school supplies, food on the table. We never went wanting in those regards. But the main thing she always gave us was love. And that was amazing. There was a lot of Christmases where we'd get one gift each. We would actually pick just names out of the hat, and then whoever we got, we'd get them a gift. But it didn't matter, man. It wasn't about the gifts. It was just about us caring for each other and being there for each other. That's why this past Christmas was really hard, because it was the first Christmas without her, and that was such a big family-oriented thing for us. Growing up, I mean, like I said, we didn't grow up with much. We never got name brand anything. Not even food. Like, we'd get Dr. Thunder instead of Dr. Pepper. But, you know, my mom tried to save money where she could. I mean, even I can remember she would cook us breakfast for dinner, and we used to think it was fancy. We're like, oh no, we get breakfast for dinner, it's a special occasion. As you got older, we realized, no, it's just the cheaper thing that you can make. And so when we just couldn't afford a lot, she'd make breakfast for dinner. You know, that's what we could afford to do. But she made it feel special. And that was one of the cool things about my mom, is that she always made us, even when it was stuff that we realized was later because of struggle, she made us feel like it was just because, I mean, it was just something special and amazing and awesome. So I was just the type of person she was. Yeah, there was times in our life where she actually took in some foster kids too. She just had love for people. She instilled in us a work ethic. I mean, I got my first job, I think I was 15 or 16. I was at Wendy's. And that's because my mom said, look, I'll help you. Like, for example, she was like, I'll help you with the down payment for a car. Which was just like $1,000. But she was like, but you have to pay the payment, so you have to make sure you had to get a job. So I had to get a job so I could pay that. I had to get a job if I wanted a cell phone. So those were the things I had to do. She wasn't going to pay those things for me, but she helped where she could. And she always pushed us for higher education. You know, we grew up in really rough neighborhoods. I have a lot of friends that are either dead or in jail because they just got caught up with the wrong stuff. And I'm very thankful that my mom pushed and instilled in us not to get into that stuff, because what was more important is building a better life for us, you know, especially because she came from a third world country to here, and she's like, I want to make sure you guys have opportunities and not squander that. So she always pushed us to have a good education and good grades, and she always stayed on us about that, and even pushed me to go to college, which, I mean, I kind of wish I took a year off, and I mean, that's neither here nor there, but she was stressing that because I was the oldest, first one to go, and she was like, you need to go before, because you don't want to wind up having kids one day and then having to do it while you're trying to have kids, because it's hard. And she knew that because that's what she did. At one point, she got remarried, and I don't really talk about my stepfather much. This will probably be one of the only times, but that's because it's just, I don't really like to talk bad on people just because I just think it's unnecessary, but these are the facts. This is things that happen. My stepfather, he was a pastor and a preacher, and long story short, I'm not going to go into all the details because there's just no need for it, but come to find out, he was cheating on my mom, and I was actually around the time she was going through her cancer, and it was a rough revelation when we found all this out. I having to keep everybody cool-headed, but this is the thing about my mom. I'm telling you this to say this. Despite all that, my mom decided, you know what? Let's go through counseling. Let's try to work this out. Let's try to figure things out. And that's the type of person my mom was she wanted to make sure she's done everything she could to make something work before she decided it wasn't going to. Now, some other things came out, which kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back, and my mom was like, all right, this ain't gonna work. But I admire her for wanting to try to keep family together, and also wanting to do what she needed to do to try to make things work. And you know, I think that was really awesome. But sometimes things just don't work, no matter how much you try. And so she, you know, made a decision. All right, this is not going to work. And so they split their ways. But I also had to tell you this to say this: I'm not a religious person at all, and That'll probably be for another episode, maybe, of why. But I'm not religious at all. My mom was, and she was a minister at one point, and I mean, she was very much into the church, never pushy, which I appreciated. I mean, yeah, there was times when we'd come visit, and she would like, hey, I would love for you to come to church with us, and yada yada. But she was never pushy, never pushed her religion on anybody, but always praising God for things that went well, and thankful for the things that she had, and was always active in the church and ministered to other women, and I always admired that, because despite everything that went on with my stepfather, who was a pastor and a preacher, she never lost her faith. And I just think that was pretty awesome, that she had something she believed in and she stood by it. Despite what I believe or what I feel, she stood to her beliefs and realized people are people and they're going to mess up, and you can't judge how you feel based on other people, if that makes sense. And so I admire that. And then also I say that to say this: my stepfather had 2 kids, and he always made his ex out to be like this just crazy woman. And come to find out, no, she wasn't. She was just dealing with the same stuff that my mom wound up dealing with. And my mom was such a upstanding person. I think where I get this from, I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong with stuff. And she approached my stepdad's ex and told her, apologize. And now keep in mind, my mom never said anything bad to her, never kind of had any conflict with her. But because of what she had thought about her, my mom thought the need to go and apologize to her for what she had thought. Now, that being said, they wound up becoming friends, oddly enough. And that's just the kind of person my mom is. They wound up becoming very good friends. And my mom still treated their kids, especially my stepsister, she still cared for them. My stepsister had a baby, and my mom was still there for that. But she still treated her like her daughter, and that's the heart that my mom had, man. And I love that. My stepsister and my stepsister's mom came to my mom's funeral when she passed away, and were like setting up food and helping doing stuff. And I love that she touched people's hearts like that, and that she was the type of person that people cared about enough to do that, to look past all the BS. And she would always befriend people in that way. And it was amazing. There were so many people that loved her and that she touched. At my mom's funeral, this guy gets up, right? At the end, we're like, all right, and everybody else, we've already said enough. We're running long. And this guy stands up and is like, I'd like to say one thing. We're like, who the hell is this guy? And come to find out, this was the president of the school the university that my mom worked at, of CNU. And my mom worked in the registration office there. She had affected that campus and the people there so much that the president of the entire university came to the funeral, took the time to come there and talk about how much my mom had touched the lives of students there. I mean, there were so many kids that graduated and would come back just to visit my mom in the registration office, because she went out above and beyond to help those students just with life stuff, with their schools, their classes, everything. And she was always going above and beyond and pushing herself to help people. She never bothered people with her problems. That's why a lot of the stuff we didn't even know until later on, dealing with her health stuff. She never complained. She always pushed herself. She always went above and beyond. She went through her cancer and battled that and beat it, and which was a tough thing, because we lost so many people in our family to cancer. My aunt, my mom's oldest sister, passed away from cancer, actually. My grandparents passed. My grandparents were living with my mom just prior to them passing. Despite having both her parents, literally a month after each other passing, she helped with all the funeral arrangements. She ran she ran the actual service. She made sure everyone was on their P's and Q's. And I even to a point where I was concerned, because I was like, Ma, you need to make sure you actually can grieve and take all this in. But I'm sure she grieved in private, because she never let it show. She never let it show at all, because she was always the one who wanted to be there for other people. And again, that's something that I get from her. But I think it just goes to show the type of character she had. She always put people first. She always put everyone else first in order to just show love. Like, she was just so full of love and caring about people. And it's one of the traits that I absolutely admire about her. When it came down to her passing, which was, if I've told this story, I think my first episode I talked about it. So if you want to know how that happened, check it out. She didn't tell anybody about how, like, her having knee issues until she wound up falling at work. And that's because she was just so stubborn and wanted to get back to work and back to doing stuff and back to helping people. She didn't want to say anything. Now, unfortunately, that was probably part of the cause of her passing, because she waited too long to get stuff checked. But again, where her heart was, I mean, come to find out, we got the autopsy back, and she wound up passing from a cardiac arrest because her heart was enlarged. Now, we don't know what actually enlarged it, but I just think it's so fitting that my mom passed from a big heart. Like, it because again, that's the person she was. And I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful to have had her as a mom. Always, like, she's the reason I appreciate strong women. She's the reason I appreciate generous people, genuine people. That's how my mom was. She was just always caring and loving and always trying to give her all to everyone, because she just wanted to make this world better. And she had this knack for connecting with people and touching their lives in a way that I admire so much. She's just such a strong human, and we all have flaws. She wasn't perfect, of course, but I mean, she was just a genuine good person. And that's the thing I loved about her. She was just a good person and just wanted to do good and just wanted to make people happy and loved her family and loved us, her kids. I'm very thankful she was able to at least get one grandkid out of the mix. I mean, technically now she has two, but she got to actually meet and spend time and be with her granddaughter. And, that's what she always wanted to be, was a grandmother. So I just think it's amazing, man. It's been a kind of a tough day today, because this, again, the 1 year exactly today that she passed. But I just want to think about the life she lived, because she lived an amazing life. When she was younger, which a lot of people don't know, big athlete, big tomboy. Like, she would play soccer, and like the girls didn't want to play with her because she was too rough, but the guys didn't want to because she would be too rough still. She was a big bicycling, and she was super active. And then she was really smart. My mom actually, even while having us three boys, she got her master's. And so she worked her butt off to be able to get that. So raising her kids, she went through college, finished her associates, got her bachelor's, and then eventually decided she was going to get her master's. And she did that, which is amazing. And beautiful woman. My mom actually won the, I think it was like Miss Caribbean. It was some pageant in New York City, and she was Miss Belize, and she won that. And just because she was just a beautiful person, both inside and out. And it's just amazing, man, to just know that was my mom. And so as much as I wish she was still here, and I 100% think she's gone too soon. She passed at 58 years old. I was so excited to do so many more things with her and show her so many more things in the world and just be more successful, so I can just make her proud and do more things. At the end of the day, all I can do now is try to obviously live my life the way I want to and live my life to make me happy, but also kind of carry on that spirit of her wanting to connect with people and love people and somehow touch them in a way that makes a positive impact in their life. And this is, again, part of the reason why I'm doing this. And I needed that reminder today, because, again, I've been slacking just because I've been dealing with so much, but I need that reminder. So I'm going to continue to try to be better about making sure I get these every week for you guys, or at least every other week, and start to do more stuff, because we as a people, especially with everything going on in the world nowadays, we need more positivity, we need more connection, we need more love. And so hopefully I can bring that to you guys. So I do appreciate you taking the time to just listen. I know this is more of a selfish one right now, but I wanted to do this for me and just to be able to celebrate the life that my mom had, because without her, you wouldn't give me. So you're welcome. So I do want to thank you guys again for just hanging in there with me and just showing me love. So I appreciate you guys. Share this with your friends if you like. If not, that's fine too, because again, it's just about being my mom. But if those of you who met her, I appreciate it. So let's do this. For those of you who did know her, for those of you who did love, you love her and you want to show that love, let's, if you got a drink, grab it. If you don't, pause it, make one, bring it here. And this one goes out to Anna Marie Menzies Lewis, a mother, a grandmother, a wife, a friend, a student, a teacher, and an amazing, 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 strong, beautiful woman. Thank you for everything you've taught me. Thank you for everything that you've given us. Thank you for the life that we've been able to live. I would not change a thing. So thank you, Mom. I hope if you are there somewhere that you're looking down and you're proud, and I will keep on living for you. Love you. Here's to her. And remember, especially because of her, that life is very short. So make it epic. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Mama. That's a wrap.